Let's talk Louisville Cardinals. A pretty good program in the ACC when you consider all things, right? Pretty consistent, pretty competitive, always getting about 8 to 9, maybe even 10 wins a season. Now, we know with everything going on in the college football playoff, right? Usually the sweet spot is about 10 to 11 wins. 10 wins, you're on the iffy part. All depends on who you beat, your strength of schedule, all that good stuff. 11 usually is going to get you in. But the new wrinkle is if you win your conference, you get automatically in no matter what your record is. Similar to how the NFL does it. Similar to obviously you winning your division, you winning your conference, you get automatic bid if you're in the Power Four. Now for Louisville, they've been right at the top, right? They've been a consistent team, right? They've been knocking on the door. Now they're a team, as Jeff Brom says here, they want to be a natty contender. The fact that Louisville has not made the playoffs or won a national championship is appealing to me. To try to do something that hasn't been done before. We're close. And to be honest with you, Jeff Brom is not wrong, right? I think they're a team that they're not that far off, right? They need some things to go their way. Most importantly, they have to hit on the quarterback position. Now, when we think about quarterback for Louisville, they brought in Miller Moss. He was a decent fringe starter, right? Obviously, of course, coming up from USC. But he wasn't one that could galvanize the troops. He wasn't one that could get you over the edge. The identity for Louisville has always been the running back game. You brought back Isaac Brown. He's obviously been phenomenal. You obviously had Keywan Brown. And then you're going to bring in a true freshman that's going to probably be a stud for you, Lakai Tompkins, right? You lose Duke Watson. But the good thing is if you're a young player and you're a young thoroughbred, Jeff Brom is going to play you. He's going to allow you to see that field and play pretty early and often. So that's obviously a plus for some of the young thoroughbreds. I think as well, Louisville did a really good job in the portal. Was it top 10 worthy or top 5 worthy in the ACC? Probably not, but he still did a really good job. Like you brought in Caleb Beasley. He's going to be obviously a great cornerback for you. You got in a young 4-star prospect in Jaden Broadnack, who should be really good for you at the cornerback position as well. And most importantly, you got Tyler Thompson, who comes over edge rusher, should make a big difference. Things we see in college football that works. We're trying to rebuild and restore a defense is if you have some really good edge rushers and a pretty good secondary, more often than not, you could do okay. Look at Miami. Linebacker position was pretty decent this year, pretty decent to good. But most importantly, their secondary was good. Jacoby, they had Bryce Fitzgerald. And then they had dynamic edge rushers in Akeem Messenger and Ruben Bain Jr. That is the key to help restore your defense quickly, in my opinion. I feel like Louisville has that. Now, the quarterback position is going to be interesting. They brought in Liam Keehan-Holtz from Ohio State. He does have some experience. And they brought in true freshman Briggs Cherry, right? 4-star prospect, committed to Louisville. We'll see. But they have to hit on this position. And the cool thing is you're not going to have to really do too much in this offense. Now, I ain't saying you can only throw for 50 yards and a touchdown and win. But what I'm saying is they're going to run the football. That's going to set up your play action. You have to be able to hit on the big plays down the field. Now, last year, Louisville had one of the top receivers pretty much in the nation. Nobody talked about him enough, and Chris Bell. They won't have him anymore. He's going to the NFL draft. But they got some young thoroughbreds coming in out of the portal, and Trey Richardson. He's going to be a stud for the Louisville Cardinals. Can't wait to see what he does with the ball in his hands. He's really good and dynamic with the ball. So I feel like Louisville has some really good pieces in order to kind of make a run. And then when we look at their schedule, it's pretty favorable. This is what they have. And shout out to Louisville for even challenging themselves. They're going to start off with Ole Miss, the Rebels, week 1. What better way to get a primetime victory added to your resume than to play a team that had their most wins in their program history? Now, obviously, we've seen what happened with Trinidad Chambliss. Expected to play. We will see if NCAA appeals. If anything changes, anything happens differently, we will follow that story. But Ole Miss should be pretty good. They bring back Kewan Lacey, probably Trinidad Chambliss, and some key pieces at several key positions. But what better way for you if you Louisville did to do that? And also, you have 3 of your first 4 games at home. Now, I know you guys are going to see versus knowledge you're talking about. That's 4. That game against Ole Miss will be played on a neutral site. They should be able to come out on top and win that. SMU is going to be the big one, right? Because, SMU is similar to Louisville. Always pretty good teams in the ACC, always playing at a high level, even though they've only been 2 years in the ACC under Rhett Lashley. He just got an extension. Then you have NC State. We'll see what happened with them and obviously CJ Bailey. Can they finally take another step forward? We don't know. The boldest wild card on this team is Florida State. They show up and down. We don't know how good this team is going to be. They're in a lot of debt in terms of the athletic program and department. Syracuse, probably not going to be as good this year. Stanford. At Georgia Tech is probably your toughest game outside of Ole Miss. Going to the road, going to Atlanta, that's one of your toughest games. At UNC, I think that will be another pretty tough game only because UNC would be a lot better this year. And they're going to be a team to continue to watch. Then you play Pittsburgh at home. How good will Pittsburgh be? We don't know. They don't have no Rasheem Biles. He went off to Texas. Kyle Lewis is going to the NFL. They lost Desmond Reed. They have a true freshman quarterback that's going to be a sophomore in Mason Heisel. Don't know. And Kentucky hasn't been good in years. So when you look at this schedule, it's more than plausible to assume and to think Louisville can easily go 10-2. You know what I'm saying? 11-1. Why they can't? And they have enough games in here against SEC caliber opponents where they can add to their resume and obviously what they're doing. So to Jeff Brown's point, I don't think they're far off. The key is going to be the quarterback play this year. I think you're going to get enough from your defensive line group, and you're going to get enough from your secondary. Secondary to be very much improved, and you're going to have the running backs in the stables in order to do it. Obviously, we'll see how the offensive line shakes out, but can your quarterback make the plays down the stretch in games to win for you? That's pretty much it. If he can do that, you have more than good enough of a chance. But comment down below. Do you guys think Louisville could be that surprise natty contender this year? Or can they be an ACC contender? Comment down below.